Hi, I'm Cord Smith, the producer at Pseudo Interactive on Full Auto. Initially, when you start playing the game, you understand how Unrec works. You understand that there's a boost system. You get the handling on the car, you understand the handbrake. But I think it's not until you really get into the meat and potatoes and you start to understand how all those systems work intricately. And in the videos, you probably can see that, you know, a great handbrake turn to earn some boost, to get ready for a big jump, still can turn into disaster and necessitate Unrec. But even using Unrec, going back and knowing exactly what you mean to do, the emergence in the game means that you'll never really take that jump the same way. And the same way that you'll never take that corner the same way. And even if you get it kind of right, once you become a perfectionist in the game and start to use Unrec to the sense that, okay, I'm going to take this and I'm going to keep my top speed at 100 because 90 is not going to cut it, you almost challenge yourself to kind of create your own little driving fantasy. And I think for me, I used to say Unrec really, as you keep playing, Unrec isn't so much about correcting mistakes, it's about bettering yourself or seeing what kind of stupid thing you can do. Like, try the most outrageous thing just to entertain yourself, or hopefully that there are people watching, and then, you know, do it again, do it again. Another thing that you'll see in the video that I felt like even, you know, some of you guys may not have been aware of was, like, in terms of presentation options, the one-touch replay. And we've had a lot of people say, well, why, you know, get this question all the time, why is Full Auto next gen, or what did you do to take advantage of the 360? And I feel like a lot of games show you can see a pretty screenshot, you can see great footage, but you're really not able to get down and look at a micro level what's happening with this new technology. And with one-touch replay, you know, you can stop time, move the camera around, move it frame by frame, and see just how much is happening on screen at any one given time. You've got, you know, hundreds of objects physicalized, you've got particles flying everywhere, you've got really fast cars, reflection maps on almost everything that even closely resembles glass. It's pretty amazing just the type of detail level you can see in the game. And when you're going 120 miles per hour and missiles are flying everywhere and things falling all over the place, you may not notice it, but I think using that feature, you'll really come to appreciate what it is that the 360 can do, and we're just scratching the surface. At the end of the day, during crunch, as we came down to the final end, there was no more fun had than during online testing. Like, I can remember the last few days before we submitted, and all of us, you know, it might be midnight, it might be 2 a.m., it might be 4 a.m., and we gathered as many people as we could. We're all zombies. We're caffeinated up, but we still are walking around with zero energy. And we get on and play sessions, and we'd be there giggling like schoolgirls every time we take someone out. We're all on VoIP, but we're sitting right next to one another, yelling and screaming and falling out of our chairs laughing because, you know, someone's always owning someone else. And that was a real beautiful thing. And I think at that point it gave us great confidence that people are going to get on live and they're going to have a blast playing the game. And hopefully just that kind of core pick up and play experience is going to keep people coming back for more. So weapons, obviously Full Auto combines cars with weapons, and it's not like that hasn't happened before, but what do you do to mix that up? What do you do to make that better than what we've seen before? First and foremost, we kind of limit ourselves in the sense that we wanted to keep it contemporary. We didn't want lasers and weird, crazy weaponry. We didn't get crazy. We wanted everything in the game to feel visceral and real and kind of, you know, 1 hour into the future. So we use things like machine guns and shotguns and a lot of kind of dumbfire weapons for people to kind of get the handle on it, because you can drive well, but to drive and aim a weapon at the same time, like you're basically aiming a car and a weapon, that's a little much to take in. So you kind of get your roots with machine guns firing straight forward, shotgun, then we get you going with missiles and rockets and tank cannons, and you've got grenade launchers, smoke screen, landmines, all that. But a big thing was, obviously in a racing game, if your primary concern is to come in first, you've got forward-mounted weapons, which is great for like taking on the pack and getting ahead of them. But then what do you do? Because at that point, when you're in first place, really all you are is a target. So we had to incorporate front-mounted and rear-mounted weapons, so you have some type of defensive ability. That's not to say that we don't have configurations that allow you to go 2 weapons on the front, but you better believe that you better be well ahead of the pack or an amazingly defensive driver if you choose that configuration. But at the end of the day, we're really happy with how the weapons came about. One thing I really am proud of is the different drive cams. Obviously from third person, you're driving, you're really focusing on the car, and it's easy to aim the car and the weapons. But once you go to something like the hood cam, where you're right behind, you know, a front-mounted missile launcher, and you have the ability with your right analog stick to aim that missile launcher. Now, once you're down and you know how to drive, that's kind of second nature, and you're just driving with the left analog. But while you're driving, to be aiming this missile launcher, it almost feels like you're in this high-speed FPS. And that, to me, is one of the most visceral experiences in the game, is taking a power slide around a corner and aiming to your left and fine-tuning aim and watching a missile fire out from, you know, a tilted missile launcher, taking someone down, straightening it out, boosting away, and taking first place. Like, I don't know that there's another game on Earth that gives you that type of satisfaction, that type of feel, and it's only something that we want to tighten up more so, give you more options, more weapons, and more control in future iterations. Every time you race a track, regardless of what car you're in, regardless of what weapons you're using, you are going to have a completely different experience than the time before. And I think people talking about that, people talking about their experiences with something wild that's happened. We've talked about this for a long time in the development studio, but you know, we're always amazed. Even up until the last day of development, we had people screaming suddenly over somewhere, like, oh, what happened? Is there a fire? You know, what's happened? And it's because they're seeing something in the game that they've never seen before. You know, the way two cars interacted, or they're coming off of a parkade, smashing a car into the ground and killing it. Ways that we didn't even realize cars and the weapons could interact together, as well as some crazy stunts in the way the driving works, because everything in the world is physicalized in the same way. The car traction, the way the missiles fly, the way the buildings crumble, it's all under the same system. And with that, we've almost created a reality that's unlike other games. So little is canned that you really won't see the same thing twice. And I think where we're going with that, and where the racing genre in particular is heading with everyone's technology in this regard, is going to make for some amazing stuff. I mean, not only online when it's human versus human, because that's a whole other bag of worms, but even offline, to be playing a game and realize that I'm having an experience that's, you know, completely dictated by my behavior is something that's so rewarding, and I think that's something that we're only going to see more of in the next generation of content. So yeah, Full Auto is coming out, I guess, the second week of February, so pretty much, yeah, bring some destruction home this Valentine's Day. It's combat racing like you've never seen, exclusively for the 360, and I think you're all going to love it.